Hello again, my lawyer friends. I was looking for an AI tool to help my law practice, and I couldn't find the right thing, so I decided to make it using OpenAI's CustomGPT function. I actually made a few because having each one be narrow in its functionality works very well. I will post the links in the descriptions. This is a demo of the one I call Advocator. I designed it to help with legal analysis and argument structure. It works great for law in motion and appeals, and even in a lot of other situations. Still has some weak areas, but let me give you an overview. I did this in sort of a lawsuit chronology. So let's say you have a client intake and you want to draft a complaint. That's where I start. The best way to approach the GPT is to prompt it ahead of time with what you want. So here, I tell it what I'm going to provide it, and I give it instructions. I want it to draft a summary and also general allegations. Once I get confirmation, I post my notes in a Word document. It can accept Word, PDF, and Excel. And then it provides both a summary and general allegations. Broke out the general allegations into causes of action, sort of, to some degree. I didn't ask it to, but it did, and that's helpful. I'm always polite to the robot because I've seen Terminator and I know what's coming. Although it already broke out the causes of action somewhat, I want it to do a further analysis and tell me specifically what causes of action might be available. Now, this is all in real time, by the way. It's that fast. Obviously, with any of this, you will want to double check anything that's provided and then it gives you, but you should always be double checking human generated work too. Again, I'm polite because I want the robot to like me. I ask it for the elements of conversion in California. The more specific you can be, the better the responses are. To help you double check things, I added a function for it to link to the internet. Now, even though I asked it for a link here, it didn't provide one, so I ask again. And it provides one. I click on the link and I get the Casey instructions. Sorry, my screen recording is a little wonky, but it worked. Now, I ask it to export the general allegations into Word. It can do Word very well. It can export to a PDF as well, but sometimes the PDF conversion doesn't work very well. So you stick to Word unless you're providing a PDF and you're asking it to rearrange it for some reason. I also specify that I only want the general allegations and not the summary. It won't put it on pleading paper for you, unfortunately, not yet anyway. But here it kindly provides the Word document. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, whoa, that's pretty awesome. Well, hold on to your shit, Dorothy, because the train is about to leave Kansas. But before it does, it's going to hit a speed bump. I kept this in the video so I can walk you through how to deal with some of the quirks you might encounter, like having to ask it for a link twice, like I did earlier. Here, I want to upload the complaint and I give it instructions. It may ask you for the preferred response sometimes because I have it set to constantly learn and improve. So if you have a response like this that just says, give me a moment, or it says, I'm working on it, something like that, but if it doesn't have a little spinny ball or any indicator that it's actually processing or analyzing, then it's not actually doing anything. I have found that the best practice is to start a new chat session in between major topics. In this case, since I was continuing on from the initial session I started, it got confused. So I just start a new session and try again, and then it worked very well. I want it to summarize the complaint. Now, I could have left the names in because these are all public cases, but I took them out anyway, except for the appeal demonstration that I do at the end of this video. But I didn't feel like I needed to leave the names. I could have, but I took them out. And in this case, it took out the names. I asked it to, and it worked. Sometimes it doesn't work. I had to try a couple times, but it's very good with that. It summarizes the case extremely well. You can ask it follow-up questions if you want, and get more help and more details. In this case, I was just trying to get through a wide array of functions for this demo video. Next, we look at a demurrer, and I ask it for help improving the demurrer. Because I wasn't specific, it didn't understand what sort of help I want, so it just provided broad guidance on what I should keep in mind. That's helpful, but if you want something more specific, you have to ask it to be more specific. If you want it to check for grammar and persuasiveness, for instance, you have to ask it to. So let's paste into it and have it rewrite a section for me. It does that very well. It's pretty wordy, but it does a really good job. If you want, you can give it follow-up instructions on its writing to help guide it to the result that you want, or you could just make a few edits and be done with it. But it's really very powerful for rewriting and for analyzing. Now here's where we start to get to the next level stuff. I upload 2 appellate briefs, and I ask it for summaries. This is still in real time, and the video is not sped up. it gives me a very accurate summary of the case. In this case, it's from the appellant's point of view. I ask it for key statutes, and it hits the points dead on. I know that because this is my case, and I know what the issues are. Ask it for key cases relied upon by the city. And again, it's dead on. Ask it to be more specific, and here it's wrong. It highlights Fishback instead of Gardner. Should have highlighted Gardner. Oh well. One trick I learned, though, is to ask it to review the brief again if I need deeper analysis. So here I ask it to review the brief again and let me know if I should focus on Fishback or Gardner. I could have asked it to review the brief again and ask me for the key case, and it probably would have hit Gardner, but it went the way it went. But I asked it to whether I should focus on Fishback or Gardner, and this time it correctly identifies Gardner and accurately summarizes the argument in the brief. So I upload Gardner as a PDF, and I ask it to break the case down for me. And it does a great job. I then ask it a tough question. It does an okay job, but it missed an important footnote that was in Gardner. And again, I know that because I'm very familiar with the case, having litigated it, and done the appeal, and won the appeal. And now it's in the Supreme Court as of the date of this video. So I ask it to review the case again, even the footnotes. This time it finds the footnote that I thought it should find. It even quotes the footnote directly, which I didn't ask it to, but is very helpful. And it does accurately. Here's where I think it's exceptionally useful. Ask it to break down the logic. And now I have a short point-by-point summary to help me craft a response that it broke down for me. If you break it down syllogistically, you can then identify whether to attack the major premise or the minor premise. Now, this is what I do when I'm analyzing any brief or case, but now I have a tool to help me either double check my arguments or guide me on ways that I thought that I didn't think of, or just help me understand the case overall. This video is just an overview of what it can do. You really should play around with it and let me know if you run into problems. Although it has some quirks, it's really very powerful and will help you craft better arguments in less time. Think of it as a tool and not a lawyer replacement. If you treat it as an associate that should just give you final and complete, great product, then you're not going to be using it right. Once you get used to its quirks, you're going to love it. Also, take a look at my other GPTs, because they will help you with other aspects of your law practice, and I'm always improving them and working on new ones.